support group.
Your support group.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Your Support Group. This is Kenny, and I got my girl with me. always. So today, I want to talk about this thing called Juneteenth. It's a lot of people that don't know what Juneteenth is all about, and I just want to run down through it. And I want to talk about why some people don't support Juneteenth, kind of, sort of me, and also too, I want to talk about why people should support Juneteenth because it's one of those holidays that we just got gave by the grace of God. So, some people will feel like, you know. So we'll talk about that and a whole lot more. Did I just click off? Cool. So I'm gonna hop right into this because I'll probably have to edit out that part anyway because I was caught off guard. So for those of you that don't know what Juneteenth is a federal holiday in the United States because of Joe Biden, and it commemorates the emancipation of enslaved African Americans. It is also often observed for celebrating African American culture. It originated in Galveston, Texas. It has been celebrated annually on June 19th in various parts of the United States since 1865. The day was recognized as a federal holiday on June 17th, 2021, like I said, because of Joe Biden. He signed the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act into law. Juneteenth commemoration is on the anniversary date of June 19th, 1865, and it was an announcement of General Order Number 3 by Union Army General Gordon Granger, proclaiming freedom for enslaved people in Texas, which was the last state of the Confederacy with institutional slavery. And for some odd reason, now, Q, I have an issue with that. And this is why. Because Juneteenth was a day to celebrate the slaves in Texas being emancipated. But if the whole world, well, the United States, everybody in the United States is celebrating Juneteenth on June 19th, then some people was emancipated before that. And I'm just wondering, why would they just pick one for all, or should it be like some include your state's emancipation date? Or I'm just wondering.
The way I kind of see it is this. It's kind of like a solidarity thing where if one of us is still in captivity, we're kind of all still in captivity. And until our brothers and sisters were released from bondage, then we technically all weren't free. So that's the way I kind of see everybody doing it. And that's kind of where I go with it. It's kind of like, well, if how can we celebrate being free if we still have brothers and sisters, in this institution of slavery? But I get what you're saying. Like
Right.
everything's going to have a different day, so why aren't we celebrating those days?
Right, because I read somewhere that actually Texas wasn't like the last to free their slaves. There was a lot of Indian reservations that their slaves were still enslaved beyond June 19th, and certain parts of Texas, within that whole Juneteenth thing, they had still had slaves all the way up to like August. So that's why I kind of find it like hard to say, happy Juneteenth. And my family doesn't originate from Texas or anything like that. So that's why I'm kind of like on the fence with it. Like, yeah, I'm glad that we got it, but now that we got it, you see what they're trying to do with it too. They're trying to commercialize it and make it into a business, the Martin Luther King Day sale.
But that's what they've always made money off: black bodies, black purposes, black this, black that. We are how they make their money. And in any way they can find a way to capitalize on black anything, they're going to do it. So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Trust me. Like I know, and they snatched it off the shelves, but I know everybody's seen the Juneteenth ice cream. I kind of wanted some to see it was like Neapolitan type ice cream, or was it like some sherbet or frozen yogurt? I mean, hey, black people need to eat healthy too. Frozen yogurt is pretty good for you. So, and then they have a non-dairy kind because I'm lactose intolerant, and nah, my
same
wife ain't
here.
gonna let that happen. So,
Same here.
you, you ate what? No, you sleeping on the couch tonight. So I was just wondering for a minute there, and then the ramifications of what actually took place made me want to take it a little bit more serious. Like, come on, man. Like, we got to do better as a country. Like, this is why everybody kind of looks at us the way they do around the world. Like, oh, they ain't really doing anything for they black people yet.
Yeah. Well, the whole reason why that was even made a holiday was because they were trying not to do something else that black people were asking for justice and police reform, but instead we got Juneteenth. So it's like, here you go.
And that is right. That is my other part. That gives me the whole pick me vibe. The whole, oh, we can't give you this, but we give you that. We can't give you 40 acres and a mule, but we'll give you Juneteenth. We can't give you reparations, but we'll give you Juneteenth. We can't promise that just because you black, you won't get beat on a Tuesday.
Right.
But we'll give you Juneteenth.
And the
You
whole
know,
funny thing about it was literally no one was asking for Juneteenth to be a holiday. And now, don't get me wrong, I was celebrating it because I had been in Juneteenth festivals right there in Winston-Salem when I lived there. We participated in them, but no one was asking. Well, I don't recall anyone asking for that to be made a federal holiday. So it was like, first of all, we ain't even asked for that. What we asked you for was not to get shot up in the street, but okay.
I mean, in all honesty, and this is me just keeping it 100, like I didn't find out about Juneteenth until I was in my teens. So that goes to show that it was a lot of like older black people that didn't know nothing about it. And so now you got this new holiday, and it feels almost like it was created in a sense of like we said just now, like a almost like a pick me, or I give you this and that, a substitute for something that they can't give us. And now we're supposed to teach a whole new generation about this holiday when half of us don't even know nothing about it. Like,
Right. And then the other thing is, like you said, in a kind of a way, it more pertains to the people of Galveston. Ancestors from those people are the descendants from the ancestors that lived in that area, not globally or nationally, is what I really wanted to say. So it's like I get celebrating it, yeah, because yeah, our brothers and sisters were finally let free, but at the same time, like, why would somebody from Louisiana be taught that when they didn't really pertain to us? Or to somebody in South Carolina or Georgia because it didn't pertain to them. You know what I mean?
right, right. Why would anybody from New Jersey?
New York or
Yeah, you might get cussed out talking about Happy Juneteenth. They're like, you must be from the country.
right.
That's not like something that you made up. And I I applaud them for getting the holiday intact, but I mean, it's just a mess. It's just a mess. I think it was kind of poor timing on their behalf for getting the holiday pass, and it was done in kind of poor taste because everybody was looking in shock and almost horror, like, oh, oh, okay, so we're doing this,
Right.
all right.
It's like one of the worst consolation prizes. Like you're on the Price is Right and you were trying to get that yacht, but then they give you like a box of crackers. It's like,
Yeah,
wait a minute.
your grand prize is
Yeah.
a box of stale crackers,
Yeah. And don't get
and
me
they come
wrong,
with
like I said,
stale cheese.
the holiday is fine, but that's not what people were asking for in regards to I would take a law being passed to save my life as opposed to getting a federal holiday. You know what I mean? Like I could always take a day off when I want to, but being
Right.
in this skin, which clearly I look black, I got the hair, I got the chocolate. They going, oh, you was a black person. Ain't no denying it.
Yeah, and then without the education portion of it, because I mean, if we were poorly educated about it, can you imagine the white people that's poorly educated about it? So then we come back from off of this federal holiday and they looking at us like, so how was your Juneteenth? Was your Juneteenth great? And you looking like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah. And that's another thing that's always weird for me too, because, and I'm going to say this with a little bit of discretion, because even with the MLK holiday, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I was at work one day and this Hispanic lady was sitting next to me and she said, I don't know who that black guy was, but I'm sure glad we got the day off. And I just looked at her like I wanted to punch her right in her throat. Like, excuse me, you don't know who that black guy was? Like, literally fought for my civil rights, my people's, and you're like,
And your civil rights as well, because without our civil rights getting passed or him fighting for our civil rights, wouldn't nobody else, no other community. So I really hate the miseducation and the misinformation that this country has in place, which makes Juneteenth and me, I'm still on the fence about it. I'm gonna be honest. I'm on the fence about it. Like I said, I don't have an ancestor that comes from Texas, but yet I now, because I had to educate myself, because in the beginning I was like, I ain't celebrating that mess. I ain't. Come on. But I understand now, like as I, did my digging and my soul searching and said, somewhere along the line, I had an ancestor that was emancipated. So this is supposed to be like the all inclusive from state to state emancipation holiday. So I'll celebrate it somewhat to an extent, but I'm not going as far as buying me no Juneteenth ice cream, no Juneteenth t-shirts, none of that, because it's not a holiday to make money about. It's almost like a black person in America's Memorial Day. We do this in commemoration of all the black slaves that died and got their tail whooped.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
So
I'll buy some merch if I know it's coming from a black owned person, because if I'm going to spend my money with somebody, it's going to be, to somebody who understands, or at least I would hope understands what it means.
right. Oh, definitely. I fully understand that. I mean, I've been on trying to get on this whole black owned thing for a while, but it's kind of hard because we don't own a lot. So now I want to move to
That part.
and I'm a backtrack just a little bit. The ones that do, um, they don't make it known that they own it. So because they're afraid to scare off the people of other colors as clients. So, but now that we've gone past that part, I want to I want to discuss more or less why people should celebrate Juneteenth, and I think I touched on that. It's just in commemoration of all uh, people being freed, emancipated, basically. I mean, it's true that the reason why it took federal troops to free, the slaves in Texas was because they was trying to get another crop in. You know, it's true that, the Native American people own Inuit people owned plantations and they had slaves on them. And being that, tribal territories and different things like that work under a different federal agreement, they probably wasn't notified to probably like 4 or 5 years after, the emancipation began. I even read in one article where they was talking about, people in Delaware wasn't actually freed until after, the Juneteenth emancipation in Galveston, Texas. So, I mean, the reason to just be all inclusive about it is because we just don't know. We don't know. We don't know the truth. I mean, half of our history is gone. Half of our history we'll never see. We'll never know. So many of your ancestors, of my ancestors, that we'll never have a lineage or a link to. Some of us don't even know what part of Africa we come from, or do we actually not come from Africa? We don't know that. Um, the main thing is to just do it in commemoration of, you know, freed people. That's it. That's the main thing. That's my main takeaway from it. And that's why I say you should celebrate it. You don't have to go all out, but just celebrate it with your mind,
Right.
you know.
Pay homage to those that came before. And also, if you're going to go buy the merch, like I said, because I'm rocking one.
Oh, well, I'm rocking one too. See, you can go buy this merch right
Get
here.
me one of those because I was going to ask you, where's my shirt?
Oh, I can send you one. I'll send you one with a coffee cup.
Okay. Now I'll pay for
Yeah.
it. I'll pay for
Nah,
it.
I'll send you one. I'll send you one. Look, this is the conversation we shouldn't be having on the podcast. Now they're gonna think I'm a bad person, and because I asked you to be on the podcast, they're gonna think now that I ain't giving you the merch for free. Now we can't be doing this here. This is a black owned business.
I get all my merch for free.
Oh man, this is turned into a bad Juneteenth here. But nah. Closing arguments, Q.
Nah, we good. Oh yeah, I did want to say this. Another reason why we should celebrate Juneteenth, and this is my closing statement. I don't know if you were planning to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. What to the American slave is your 4th of July? I answer, a day that reveals to him more than all other days of the year that the gross injustice and cruelty to which he is the constant victim. Frederick Douglass.
Indeed, indeed. And so, yeah, because it's been constant, and I know y'all used to me talking about some new stuff. I need to take a break for real. Like it's a lot, and it wore on me. As a parent, um, I don't want to talk about that tragedy no more. Um, as a family man that loves shopping in the grocery store, don't want to talk about that tragedy no more. And now I'm hearing other stories about other places this is happening. And like I said, that stuff won't be over. Um, trust and believe it's going to get bad before it gets better because people aren't listening until it starts affecting them. You know, just like the crack epidemic. It was all these junkies and all these evil people doing drugs, and now it's, oh, these people need help and they need rehab and different things like that.
Yeah.
So just keep your hearts and minds with those families that are affected by any of those travesties. And also, to keep your hearts and minds with your ancestors and, the things that fell upon them when they arrived to this country. That's what Juneteenth is about. It's just being in commemoration of them. And look, If nobody told you today that they love you, we do. So happy Juneteenth. Merry Christmas. No, I'm just playing. But don't do that. Don't do that. But happy Juneteenth to everybody out there watching this podcast. And if you catch it a little bit before, then just play it back on Juneteenth again. Don't worry. You just supporting the black business. So you can play it like 8 times. Tell your mama, tell your sister, tell your friends. This will be on YouTube. This is on Facebook. And also, too, you can go through my website at www.ysgpodcast.com where Q got posts, I got posts. You can find out all the social links to both of us. Those are business links. Those are business links. Don't try to send us nothing personal. But we still love you. We do. Yeah. So thank you, Q, as always.
Peace.
Peace. Let's close this joint.
Yes, support group.